Well, tonight we remember a gentleman who was practically born with a clippers in one hand and a scissors in the other. And over the years, everyone from governors to mayors and everyday Joes sat in his barber chair. Last week, the East Metro lost a legend when George Ficocello passed away unexpectedly at the age of 82. Our Maury Glover shows us why Ficocello was such a cut above the rest.
Funny, amazing. People just gravitated to him.
For nearly 3 years, Nancy Milkey worked next to George Ficocello at his barbershop in Mendota. But now his chair sits empty, a somber tribute to the man who devoted more than 60 years of his life to his chosen profession.
And it's so sad now to come to work and his customers that first week would come and sit in his chair and cry.
Ficocello and his brother Bill started Ficocello's Salon in Kellogg Square in downtown St. Paul when that building opened in 1972, before moving to Galtier Plaza in the early 2000s. For 4 decades, a wide cast of characters passed through the salon's doors, including the city's longest-serving mayor, George Latimer, who became a good friend of Ficocello's, even though they had opposing political views.
He's a really good barber, on top of the fact that he was just a lot of fun in the chair, and he always knew people, knew their families, never forgot their names.
After his brother retired in 2012, Ficocello took his talents to another barbershop in Mendota, where about 300 of his loyal customers followed him. Up until his death early last week, Ficocello still worked 4 days a week at the age of 82. And if his customers were too old to come to him, he would go to them.
There's a lot of sides to my dad. He was a great guy, and it's hard to think that he's not here because it just hasn't really sank in.
Outside the barber shop, family members say Ficocello loved singing karaoke and enjoyed dressing up like Elvis for other residents at the senior apartment building he had recently moved into. Now many of his clients will go to Milkey, who will do her best to keep his memory alive.
It was an honor to work with him, and it's an honor that his customers trust and like me enough to come to me, and that warms my heart.
Ficocello's funeral will be on Friday, October 4th at Church of the Assumption on West 7th in St. Paul, followed by a celebration of life at one of his favorite spots, Mancini's Char House in St. Paul. In Mendota, Maury Glover, Fox 9.